Hello and welcome, I'm Tafaragdamu. Through highs and lows, Ethiopia and Armenia have maintained relations that have lasted for centuries. The Armenian presence in Ethiopia actually reached its peak in the 20th century, leaving behind a lasting historical and cultural imprint. Today, that connection appears to be gathering new momentum. This is reflected in the visit of a delegation led by Artur, Armenia's Deputy Minister of Education, Science, Culture and Sports. I'll be joined by the Deputy Minister himself, along with Sahak Sargsyan, the Ambassador of Armenia to Ethiopia, to explore what may be unfolding in this evolving partnership. A very warm welcome to the program, Minister Martirosyan and Ambassador Sargsyan. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you. Thanks for hosting us.
Thank you very much.
So, the history of the relations between Armenia and Ethiopia dates back years, hundreds of years, right? But you came here, when is it, a year ago?
Yes, myself, I came a little over 1 year. I came at the end of January last year, 2024. At the same time, I'm privileged I'm honored to be the first resident ambassador, extraordinary plenipotentiary of my country to your beautiful country. Although our embassy was opened about 5 years ago, but we had chargé d'affaires who established, let's say, the embassy itself. So I did a very difficult job here, and then I took over as fully fledged ambassadors.
Why did it take that long?
Well, that's a good question because, one of the first embassies, actually, for your information, we opened in the African continent was in Cairo, Egypt.
After you became independent, when is it?
After regaining our independence from Soviet Union. And then the Africa was actually in our vision to be the next embassy to be in Addis Ababa, but it took some years, about 2 decades, to come to that point, unfortunately, because of the financial reasons, etc., the matters. But we are where we are now, and as I said, we are very happy to have an embassy here and to try to, let's say, revitalize our strong historical bonds and to have a modern diplomatic relations.
Such as what you're doing now with the Vice Minister from the Ministry of Education, Culture and Sports, right?
Yes, His Excellency Mr. Martirosyan, Artur Martirosyan, he's a Deputy Minister of Education, Science, Culture and Sports of Armenia. So His Excellency will introduce himself, of course. But one of the major, let's say, areas of collaboration that we see as Armenia, as a government of Armenia, are these areas, such as education, science, culture and sport, because of the historical reasons and also because of the reasons that His Excellency will elaborate more on it.
Yeah, I can see history, culture and so on in there, but why education?
Why education? I cannot agree more with all the statements made that history unites us. And I think now Armenia is in a very interesting context as it comes to its development, and also it's equally relevant also for education and culture. And we really love to expand these bilateral relations with Ethiopia, with whom we share these historical connections, and also be helpful with our experience of transformation in different aspects as it comes. It's about the education management, it's about the education content, it's also about the higher education, and also about the cultural institutions. So I believe that, of course, economy, military, politics, they are very important, but if any given two nations, they want to become friends, it should start from education and culture.
So in education, what is it that you're offering that others cannot?
I think we live in a very competitive world, but we are offering something special. Armenia, when you take the cost and quality dimensions, Armenia is becoming quite a nice place to pursue higher education, because we are part of different regional from Soviet Union, we inherited quite a good higher education, overall education. And now, being part of different regional frameworks, like with European Union, we are part of the Bologna process, we are part of the we are doing Erasmus Plus projects, Horizon Europe projects. Also, we are part of the CIS, Commonwealth of Independent States, where there is open university framework. And also we have quite a lot extended network of bilateral relations with like friendly countries all around the world, including the role of the Armenian diaspora. You can imagine how fast is vibrantly the higher education in Armenia is developing. So having said that, like the entire context, I think cost-wise and also thinking of Armenia as a safe place where it is really one of the safest places in the world, and also these historical connections, I think that's what we can also suggest to our Ethiopian counterparts.
Speaking of the Armenian diaspora, the 1960s Armenian population in Ethiopia was over 1,000.
Yes, it's never been very large in terms of numbers, but they've been very much integrated into the society, into the government, different aspects of economy. They were successful, the craftsmen, and also the businessmen, and also those who contributed a lot to the education field, by the way, and also to the music. The arts, etc. Yes. So just a couple of names that just came across. Are the composer of the national anthem of Ethiopia during the emperor's time, Haile Selassie, was of Armenian descent, Ethiopian Armenian, Georg Nalbandian, and his nephew. Was the major contributor to the modern Ethiopian jazz music and also the classical music. He himself, Nerses Nalbandian, composed also the official anthem of predecessor of African Union, Organization of African Unity. So there is a lot of connection through Ethiopia also with Africa in case of Ethiopian Armenians.
He also helped create the Imperial Brass Band, right? Train people and so on.
It's Arbali George, 40 children who came actually about 100 years ago at the
1924.
Yes, at the invitation of his, the Emperor Haile Selassie in 1924. Yes, so they've been the foundation of let's say the modern the music of Ethiopia as such, and the major contributors to the development of Ethio jazz itself.
So we have how many Armenians living in Ethiopia now?
Well, there are no exact statistics, but it's close to 100, yes. Yeah. And yes, it's close to 100, but still those who left Ethiopia after 1974, they still keep close relations with the home country. They consider Ethiopia home country and then Armenia as a second, let's say, homeland in a way. So these ties are still close, and I heard that some families, they came back and they reestablished their lives in Ethiopia.
So you're basically trying to reignite, if you will, that trend, right?
Absolutely. I think there is a lot unutilized potential, and I fully agree that with Mr. Ambassador's comment that Ethiopia also serves as a platform for Armenia's relations with African continent at large. But itself, Ethiopia is super interesting for us because of history and because of what we can suggest. And I think it would be experience exchange, because we are here also to learn from Ethiopian culture, which is one of the oldest in this planet. So I think if we be good enough to have more exchanges of music bands or cultural exchanges, and then continue with educational cooperation in the field of education. And by the way, I spoke about the higher education, but it's equally relevant to the public education at large, because Armenia is in the I cannot think of any other period where we were passing that large-scale reforms, which is about both the management, digitization, and everything, but also it's about the content of education. So we are moving from the knowledge-based Soviet inherited content to more outcome-oriented and also competency-based approach, where like the skills are equally important as the knowledge, and where we also give accent to this to attitudes and assets.
I understand that you have organized a panel on education, higher education, between these two countries. How did it go? In other words, what are you planning to achieve?
It went quite well.
You said a few words about that earlier on, but what is the strategic objective?
I'm here with a delegation, and we have representatives, high-level representatives from two universities, also the head of staff of the Higher Education and Science Committee of Armenia. So we had very nice meetings and panel discussion with our Ethiopian colleagues, and the plan is that that's at least my anticipation, is that we will both boost the bilateral relations between the universities, but also all of this would serve eventually to having closer relations. So, of course, there are some issues, maybe with the mutual recognition of diplomas, etc. Though Armenia has ratified a couple of regional conventions, the Lisbon Convention for European continent and the Tokyo Convention for the Asian Pacific continent, but also we are part of the Global Convention, and I hope Ethiopia would be part of it too. But then we may think of signing, the agreement, special agreement, bilateral for mutual recognition, and all this would facilitate to that. And I'm sure if we have the first, let's say, 5-10 students who will come and share with their experiences, I think it would serve as a very solid ground for already the universities to take the lead and do double degree programs and many other types of cooperation that they can do.
Are these institutions engaged enough, if you will, here?
Well, it's never enough. But the thing is just sharing with you the recent updates. We are very much committed to expanding our regulatory framework with our Ethiopian partners. As of now, we have the interstate agreement on culture, which is very important. It's existing agreement, and based on that, it opens up a lot of opportunities for people-to-people contact and between the specialists and artists, etc., in the field. But also, we are, as His Excellency pointed out, we are very close to signing another intergovernmental agreement on education and science. Besides, we have couple of MOUs, Memorandum of Understanding, between Addis Ababa University, which is main university of Ethiopia, and also Yerevan State University, again, the biggest university in Armenia.
That's where you organized this panel discussion, right?
Exactly. Plus, very recently, there was a MOU signed between Oromia State University and also Armenian. It's a public administration academy of Armenia for the public service, servants to be trained. It's an exchange again. They aim at exchange programs, etc. So, and also very recently, another memorandum was signed between AFLEX, African Leadership Excellency Academy, and our Public Administration Academy, which is also another, let's say, avenue of opportunity.
And just to add to that, thank you very much. We, in contemporary Armenia, because also of diaspora engagement, we have non-formal education facilities, and part of them, they are very brandy, and it's in our education development strategy till 2030 to kind of expert them. And one of them is like TUMO, which is by Simonian Educational Foundation, and we have one of their board members in my delegation. Also, we have Armat, which is about laboratories, school laboratories. Again, there is a big plan with the embassy's support, and I think there is quite a lot of interest among our Ethiopian partners, so that we can have Armat laboratories here or TUMO centers here. And by the way, like TUMO centers, they are in Europe, they are in Japan, they are everywhere. But also for them to partner with their Ethiopian peers, like STEM Ethiopia, which is, to me, we should explore more, but to me, it's the non-formal education center that suggests more to students, because now education is no more about schooling, it's about more, and this is a great opportunity for them to have this experience exchange.
So as it stands today, how did it go? I mean, are you well on track?
We are.
I mean, you have signed memorandums of understanding and so on and so forth, but are you into it?
The ones about the non-formal education, they are still in the pipeline.
But the others?
And we are going to also invite the ministers of education and culture to Armenia, and we think of this as a great opportunity, as one of, let's say, very important, but just one important step, just one step in the big agenda of expanding and having Armenia and Ethiopia closer to each other.
There is a backstory to it, which is that a positive thing in terms of what you're doing now? Is that helpful? Yes. Is that a plus, a big plus?
It is a big plus, and as His Excellency Mr. Martirosyan pointed, having high-level delegations, and also the delegation that has such a diverse composition led by His Excellency Deputy Minister. It's very important because we explore all aspects of education, science, culture, etc. Sports as well, very important. But at the same time, the small steps are also important. For example, last year in October, at the invitation of the Manuscript Institute of Armenia, it's a Matenadaran Institute. It's a well-known, well-established, worldwide well-known institute of preservation of old manuscripts. So they invited their partner, Addis Ababa University Institute of Ethiopian Studies. They have a repository of also old manuscripts, just to exchange their experiences and also the best practices, how to rehabilitate it, and also how to preserve. And also, for your information, there is a collection of old gas manuscripts in our institute. It's very well kept and maintained, but we need someone to come and study the content. So that's also the good opportunity for both sides. And also, just for your information, the last year in the Addis Ababa International Film Festival, the movie was premiered here. It was produced here and in Armenia, the movie. It's an Armenian-made movie called Tzeta. Which is about, the Ethiopian Armenians, their recent history, etc. Very touching movie myself. I was also one of the first viewers of the movie. It was very successful. They, the audience, again, demanded another, let's say, the screening, etc. So, and also the last year we had our state jazz orchestra coming here and, having a concert. Those small steps are very important to keep alive this connection, between our two.
When do you think they'll get big and actually bigger? When do you think they'll get bigger? Those small steps.
Small steps.
I think they're already becoming bigger because the mutual interest is there. And I think, just to continue on what Mr. Ambassador mentioned, I'm just myself also very fascinated with everything being done within this short period, and having the very energetic ambassador and vibrant embassy. I think it also it's very fundamental for it all to happen. I think really the potential is there. Like, take this example of filmmaking, right? Armenia has a very new law on film production, which gives lots of incentives to the investors. And I think the mutual joint film would be very successful. It's condemned to success. And you know also why? Because in Armenia, anything connected to Ethiopia, it's not like regular, something about Africa, one of African countries, but it's very close to people's hearts because of the also historical Eastern Croatian tradition, and not only. And I'm sure even the way that how our script are very similar, it also showcases that even like 1,000 years ago, our peoples were interacting, at least culturally, which is great, and that's our job to make it work again and in a bigger scale and so on.
We have also this idea to organize, Mulato Astatkas, the concert in Armenia. That is a legend of Ethio jazz, well known worldwide as well. We will see if we can make it this year or next year, together with our Philharmonia, our orchestra. Of course, we have this strong historical foundation, this close bonds that needs to be revitalized. And we are looking forward to strengthen and diversify our partnership with our Ethiopian friends. And also, as His Excellency indicated, we consider Ethiopia as a gateway to the rest of Africa. This is the only embassy that we have in sub-Saharan Africa, and we attach big importance to Ethiopia.
Well, good luck with your new initiative. It was really a pleasure having you on my show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you.